Okay, nines, let's talk a little bit about the environment that you thrive and suffer in, and as well as how you learn to see it that way. So if you know anything about the Enneagram, you know about these arrows going through the diagram. These arrows point to a 3 and a 6 for a 9. And it kind of makes sense. You pick up the flavors of these other different styles under relaxed and stressful conditions. Under stressful conditions, it makes sense why you would be overwhelmed and anxious like a 6 and indecisive in these moments when stress is going on. It makes sense. On the other hand, it makes sense why you would, on your circumstances, be doing better when you're productive and focused and confident. Pick up those flavors, the high side, the gold of a 3 under relaxed conditions. Makes sense. But actually, as you look further in, you actually pick up the other sides in these same circumstances as well. Look at this. Under stress, you pick up the gold. It's possible, listen, to pick up the gold of a 6. You get more honest. You get more outspoken in the midst of stress. Instead of holding your tongue, instead of just tiptoeing around, you get more honest and open. It's also possible when you're in a safe environment, when you're around people that love you, that you're not doing so well. And even though everything should be going well, you seek to impress others. Now, sometimes that's a fun way around the house that you would never do because it's not appropriate out there. But it may be in other ways as well. What you want to see here is actually the Enneagram keeps going and shows us it's not your outward circumstances that you're bringing into a lot of these situations. It's what's on the inside. It's your worldview. It's how you learned your style that is affecting you more than you ever realized. Let's look at your childhood. You know, many 9s grew up with family issues, trauma, or conflict. And not all of them did. Some of them were peaceful families, very minority though, where you were just praised for being peaceful and doing what was right. Most of the time there were siblings fighting, there were parents fighting, there were divorce, there was difficulty, there was hardship, sometimes extreme. And peace at any price is kind of the way you learn to operate. And so you can go along with everybody, roll with things, be overly accommodating sometimes to a fault. And what happens is your opinion, your desires, who you really are and what you're passionate about sometimes are harder for you to capture and get your hands around because of this ability to roll with everybody, to roll with conflict. You see, as a child, most 9s grew with some kind of unspoken worldview that basically said, I must keep the peace. Now that's a huge issue. That's a huge calling that no one ever could fulfill, much less a 6-year-old or 7-year-old. One of the questions you want to ask yourself is this: how do you handle conflict? How do you handle conflict? Most likely it's not like this lady. In the midst of a crowd, in the midst of a lot going on, where somebody needs to speak out, and here she handles it with a smile. Is it possible to do that? Really, is it possible? The answer is yes. It is very possible. A worldview change has to happen. This lady, if she really is smiling, and if she really is bringing, order to a crowd, she's able to be effective in it because of the way she's carrying herself, because her worldview has been replaced by something greater. And we're going to talk about that as we keep talking about the Gospel Enneagram.